Remember the thrill of owning your very first digital watch, the one with glowing red numbers that made you feel like you had a piece of the future right on your wrist? For a brief, electrifying era in the 1980s, these little marvels were more than just timekeepers. The soft, beeping alarms and the satisfying press of tiny rubber buttons are sounds burned into our collective memory. Strapping one on in the morning felt like joining the ranks of secret agents and astronauts ready for any adventure from the schoolyard to the workplace. Suddenly, everyone was timing themselves, setting reminders, and showing off stopwatch tricks, tiny features that felt downright magical. Who could forget the almost ritual reverence of cycling through the modes or the pride of flashing a backlight in a dark movie theater? Digital watches changed the rhythm of our days, blending technology with fashion and sparking playground envy. Did you ever challenge a friend to see whose watch could do more or last longer? As we turn back the clock to this unique chapter of the 80s, let's rediscover what made these gadgets such prized possessions and why their shiny glow lingers in our memories today. Step back for a moment to those tantalizing years just before the 1980s, when America was on the brink of a digital awakening. In the world of watches, something remarkable was stirring, a shift from decades of tick-tocking gears and metallic winding crowns to the soft, silent glow of electronic numbers. Traditional watches had their place, gleaming on our fathers' wrists and marking major life events. But for a new generation, the digital watch whispered promises of something bolder, sleeker, and impossibly modern. Before we even knew it, the rules were about to change, and what would follow became one of the decade's most delightful tech revolutions. Back in the 1970s, mechanical wristwatches were still the standard. Brands like Timex and Bulova ruled the jewelry counters at local department stores, and if you were lucky, you might have received an heirloom watch passed down through the family. Then in 1972, Hamilton introduced the Pulsar, the world's first commercially available digital watch. It cost a staggering $12,100 at launch, about the price of a modest used car, and for most people, it was a distant curiosity. But the seed was planted. Fast forward to the early 80s, and suddenly technology had caught up with imagination. What once seemed a far-off luxury became accessible to everyone, from school kids saving up allowance to adults looking for the next big thing. Do you remember the first time you saw that glowing red LED face on a friend's wrist? It was like spotting a flying saucer in your local grocery store. The earliest digital watches used LED displays, short for light-emitting diode, that shimmered fiery numbers at the press of a button. They were futuristic, but they came with quirks. The tiny batteries burned out quickly, and displays were invisible unless you held down the button. Still, these minor inconveniences couldn't dampen the excitement. For the first time, reading the time meant pressing for a dazzling light show, the wristwatch as conversation starter, and a little piece of science fiction you could actually wear. What's remarkable is how quickly digital watches evolved from expensive novelties to everyday essentials. By 1977, the price for a digital watch had fallen below $20, meaning they were soon everywhere. American companies like Texas Instruments jumped in, mass-producing models in playful colors and designs. Who could forget those iconic rectangular screens with a button or two along the side, often accompanied by chunky plastic straps in every shade under the sun? It was an instant hit with young people, but parents soon recognized the practical appeal as well. After all, what better way to teach your kids about punctuality or help them feel a little more grown up? The early 80s brought a pivotal change, the shift from LED to LCD, liquid crystal display technology. This allowed watches to show time continuously without draining batteries so quickly, and it opened the door to daytime visibility, a real game changer. Casio, Seiko, and a new wave of Japanese manufacturers stepped up to the plate, introducing innovations that would define the look and feel of the digital watch era. Suddenly, it wasn't just about owning a digital watch, it was about which features you had. Did your model sport a built-in calculator? Was there a tiny light that let you check the time under the covers at night? Maybe yours played melodies or tracked dual time zones. These weren't just watches, they were tools for everyday adventure. But that's not all there was to the story. Did you know that early digital watches were sometimes banned from schools? Administrators worried that kids would use the calculator feature to cheat on tests, and some watches came equipped with miniature games. Imagine wearing an arcade cabinet right on your wrist, ready to relieve any moment of boredom at a family dinner or waiting in a doctor's office. Looking back, it's hard not to smile at the creativity and optimism behind those designs. Each new feature sparked a wave of excitement, and every minor upgrade could make yesterday's model instantly feel old-fashioned. Think back. Do you remember what it felt like to trade watch features at recess? Maybe one week, the musical alarm was all the rage, and the next, everyone wanted the one with the stopwatch for timing sprints on the playground. In a way, these gadgets created a common language, a vibrant culture of sharing, comparing, and constant discovery. Teachers noticed their students sneaking peeks under their desks or timing how fast they could solve math. Riddles, all with a press of the same iconic buttons. Did you ever get caught? Did your digital watch ever decide to beep at the most inopportune moment, drawing the classroom's attention? More than just devices, digital watches became social statements. Celebrities wore them on television, athletes endorsed them in glossy magazines. Even pilots and astronauts sported the most advanced models, giving the humble wristwatch a touch of heroic glamour. One lesser-known fact, in 1983, Casio's G-Shock line was designed to be unbreakable after an engineer dropped his watch and shattered it. Testing involved dropping prototypes from third-story windows until they survived. The resulting watches became so tough they were used by military personnel and adventurers alike. The idea that your own wristwatch might survive a disaster, or simply a rough-and-tumble Saturday, was thrilling. Perhaps what's most surprising is how deeply digital watches reflected the optimism of the 1980s. There was a widespread sense that technology could solve problems, bring people together, even make daily life a little more fun. The wristwatch became a tiny window into a digital tomorrow where anything seemed possible. Did you, like many, ever dream your watch might one day let you talk to someone far away, like Dick Tracy? That kind of wishful thinking felt almost within reach. As the decade marched on, digital watches grew from an exciting novelty into an inseparable part of daily routine. They ended up on wrists everywhere, in offices, on school buses, at summer camps, and at backyard barbecues. The digital age had arrived, not with the thunder of mainframe computers, but with a gentle beep on your wrist, reminding you to set the alarm, time your run, or call home for dinner. But while the early years of digital watches dazzled with their glowing numbers and flashy innovations, what came next made them truly unforgettable. As we move into the heart of the 1980s, the features and flair of these timepieces exploded in ways that captured both the imagination and the pulse of the era. Just wait until you remember what tricks those wrist-bound marvels had up their sleeves. As we wind down our journey through the world of 1980s digital watches, it's hard not to smile at just how revolutionary those little timekeepers felt. Throughout the decade, these watches grew from simple glowing numbers to complex, feature-packed wonders, transcending their role as mere accessories and becoming treasured companions in our everyday routines. We watched as digital displays moved from red LED flickers to crystal-clear LCD screens, making it easier to catch the time in the midst of a busy school day or during a night out on the town. With the addition of alarms, stopwatches, calculators, and even tiny games, watches weren't just telling time anymore. They were helping us manage it, entertain ourselves, and show off a bit of personal flair every time we rolled up our sleeves. Whether you were an early adopter boasting a chunky Texas Instruments model, a whiz kid with a Casio calculator on hand for pop quizzes, or someone who cherished a musical alarm to kickstart every morning, the digital watch was as much a part of your wardrobe as a favorite pair of jeans or a worn-in Letterman jacket. Remember the moment you set your first alarm, or lost count of the times you raced your friends using your stopwatch mode during gym class? Each new feature, no matter how simple it seems by today's standards, felt groundbreaking at the time. The sheer ingenuity packed into such a small device made us believe that the future really was at our fingertips. But digital watches were more than gadgets. They were a symbol of hope and innovation, representing how quickly technology was reshaping our lives for the better. Each button press brought a sense of control over our own schedules and a satisfaction in mastering the modern world, one beep at a time. They reflected the optimism and excitement of the era when science and imagination walked hand in hand, and when the newest innovation was something you could wear proudly for everyone to see. And as much as we longed for the wild promises of science fiction, communicating wrist to wrist, or using our watches to control the world around us, it's extraordinary to remember just how advanced those first digital watches felt, lighting up our wrists and our imaginations alike. Looking back, do you find yourself wishing you had held on to your favorite digital watch? Or maybe you still have it tucked away in a drawer, battery long dead, but memories still bright? What features did you love most, and which tricks impressed your friends? The simple buzz or chime of those watches can transport us instantly back to summer camp, to after-school hangouts, to late nights spent marveling at the tiny blinking display as it counted down the minutes to a new day. Now it's your turn to share. What was your most unforgettable memory with a digital watch from the 80s? Was it a gift for a special birthday, a trusty sidekick through your school days, or perhaps the source of a little mischief during a test? Drop your stories in the comments below. We'd love to hear about the wrist-bound time machines that shaped your world. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to like the video and subscribe, so you never miss an episode celebrating the gadgets, moments, and culture that defined our past. Maybe send this to a friend who once challenged you to a stopwatch race or swapped calculator tips. As we look back, those digital beeps and glowing displays aren't just echoes of the past. They're a gentle reminder that sometimes the future really does arrive in the smallest, most surprising packages.